They say some dares are harmless fun. A few hours of adrenaline, some laughs, and maybe a spooky story to tell after. But when 19-year-old Ryan Foster agreed to spend just one night in a room everyone in town avoided, no one thought he'd come back silent. His lips still move sometimes, like he's whispering to someone who isn't there, but no words ever come out. And the worst part? It looks like he's still listening to whatever he met that night. What happened in that room? This is his story. It started, as most stupid decisions do, with a group of friends, a half-empty bottle of whiskey, and a night too quiet for their restless energy. Ryan sat on the torn couch in Tyler's basement, trying not to roll his eyes as his friends egged each other on. The old Marrow house had been a subject of gossip for years. Its cracked windows and sagging roof loomed at the edge of Ashburn, forgotten by developers and swallowed by weeds. Rumors said it had been an inn, once, a place where travelers vanished, leaving only blood-stained sheets behind. "Come on, man," Tyler grinned, slurring his words. "One night, just one night in the Red Room. Prove you're not a coward." The Red Room. The name alone stirred unease. Some claimed the wallpaper there dripped when you stared too long. Others said the walls pulsed like veins under the light of the moon. Ryan wasn't the bravest of the group, but he hated being underestimated. He smirked, shrugging casually. "Fine, I'll do it. Tonight." The laughter turned to stunned silence, then to cheers and claps on his back. The dare was sealed. The Marrow house loomed larger in person. Its porch sagged, the steps groaning under his weight. His friends waited at the tree line, their flashlights bobbing nervously. No one wanted to cross the threshold with him. "Don't chicken out, Ree," someone called. Ryan lifted his chin, pushed the door open, and stepped inside. The air was colder than it should have been. Dust floated through his beam of light like tiny, unsettled spirits. Every corner of the house carried a smell: wet wood, rust, and something faintly sweet like spoiled fruit. He followed the warped hallway until he found it. The Red Room. The wallpaper peeled in strips of crimson, and the faded carpet bore stains darker than time could explain. A four-poster bed leaned in the center, its mattress sunken, sheets stiff with age. He set his backpack down and checked his phone. No signal. He expected as much. Just one night, he whispered to himself. Hours dragged. He lay in the bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, trying to convince himself every creak of the floorboards was just the house settling. But at midnight, the whispers began. At first, he thought it was the wind seeping through broken shutters. But then he realized the words were too sharp, too human. "Ryan," he froze. His heart pounded so hard he felt it in his throat. The voice had been right beside his ear. He swung his flashlight toward the corner. Nothing but peeling wallpaper and shadows. "Ryan." Now the voice came from the other side. Softer, female, almost coaxing. He scrambled upright, clutching the beam of light like a weapon. "Who's there?" Silence. Near the dresser stood an old mirror, its surface clouded and cracked. Something in it caught his eye. In the reflection, the bed behind him was occupied. A shape. No, a person lay under the sheets. Ryan spun around. The bed was empty. He looked back at the mirror. The figure was still there. Slowly, the sheet-covered form sat up, its head tilting unnaturally as if bones cracked with emotion. Ryan stumbled back, nearly tripping over his bag. His flashlight flickered, and for a split second, he thought he saw a pale hand press against the inside of the mirror's glass. He tried not to look at the mirror again. He sat in the chair by the door, gripping his phone, even though it was useless. But then came the scratching. From the walls. From a floor. From a ceiling. Soft at first, then frantic. Like dozens of nails clawing their way out. The whispers multiplied. Male voices, female voices, some too distorted to be human. They all said his name, over and over. When he finally glanced at the mirror again, he realized it wasn't one figure in the reflection. It was many. Faces pressed against the glass, mouths opening in silent screams. Their eyes were wide, black, endless, and they were all staring at him. By 3 a.m., Ryan's resolve was cracking. He wanted to run, but the door refused to budge. It was as if the wood had melted into the frame. The whispers grew louder until they formed words. Clear, deliberate. Speak to us. Ryan's throat went dry. What do you want? He whispered. The room fell silent. Then one voice answered, deep and resonant, vibrating through the walls. Stay. He shook his head violently. No, this is just a dare. I'm leaving when the sun comes up. But the voices laughed. 100 overlapping chuckles that made the hair on his arms rise. No one leaves. The mirror rattled violently, cracks spreading like veins across its surface. Then with a shatter, it broke, and yet, impossibly, the glass did not fall. Instead, a hole yawned open where the reflection had been, black and endless, a void that breathed. From it, a hand emerged, long, pale fingers dragging across the floorboards. Ryan screamed. His friends found him slumped against the bed frame at dawn, wide-eyed, trembling, lips moving soundlessly. The mirror was in pieces on the floor, but Ryan never told them what happened. In fact, he never spoke again. Doctors said it was psychological trauma, a breakdown from fear, but his friends knew better. Sometimes, late at night, they swear they hear Ryan whispering in his sleep, not in his own voice, but in voices that don't belong to him. And sometimes he just sits there, staring at an empty corner of the room, nodding slowly as if listening. So now the question lingers, the same one that chills anyone who hears his story. Would you dare to spend a night in the Red Room? Backend Index Pointing Right subscribe for more true horror stories, if you're brave enough.